Shabbat Shalom, Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Shalom, Israelites. I pray everybody is doing well. And Israelites, I want to go into the book of Jonah. I done read out the book of Jonah quite a few times in some videos. But this is what's interesting is that the book of Jonah, when he was sent out to deliver his message in Nineveh, Israelites are not understanding, what that was about. And I'm going to explain a little bit of it so we can get a better understanding of our heritage. And I was just, reading and pondering over some Israelite information, and then I got to thinking that, man, we got to go up against 2,000 something years of false history that's been created about Israelite history. And I'm thankful to Almighty Yah that He blessed me with the knowledge, man, to go up against it. And I believe that I'm making Israelite history, easy for the Israelite community if they'll tune in and listen to me and give me a chance, because I think we all got the same frequency from our experiences and the things that we been through that we can, relate to what we seeing and stuff, especially the way that I explain things. I ain't been to no school. I ain't got no education, and my education has basically been confined to Tanakh history, just studying this history and the history around it. And that's what the Israelite brotherhood is here for, is to give the Israelite alternative source of history other than what the camps been putting out. And those will be the Israelite organizations that are using Jewish history, the Jewish people history, the 2,000 years of false history, 2,000 something years of false history that has been put out about Israelite history. All right, Israelites, we're going to go into the book of Jonah. And we understand, that Jonah was sent to Nineveh. That's the Assyrian held territory. And then how that Jonah didn't want to go there. He did not want to go to Nineveh and tell them anything. See, here go Nineveh right here on the map. He didn't want to go here. He didn't want to go to Nineveh and tell them anything. And why wouldn't he want to go tell them anything that would possibly change their course, which he eventually did, because Almighty Yah sent him through some tribulations, showing that you can't run and hide from Almighty Yah, and that he eventually went to Nineveh and gave his message, and that they had straightened up. And then what to make them straighten up and do right? The Assyrians wasn't the tribes of Israel, so why would they listen to a prophet and do what he say? That's because the tribe of Ephraim was there. The tribe of Ephraim was all in Assyria and hanging out in Assyria and doing trade, being the middle man going into Egypt, getting oil from Egypt to Assyria, Assyria to Egypt, as well as all other trades. I'm talking about wine, clothing, everything. The tribe of Ephraim, man, they was rich, and they had gold, plenty of everything, and they wasn't on the covenant, and that they was on Egyptian religion. So when you look at all the northern kingdom, they all gonna be associated to Egyptian religion. And we know that the Egyptians and the Assyrians had a strong tie, as stated in the book of Nahum when he pronounced Assyria's destruction. And their destruction come to pass too. Their destruction came to pass. And I want to go into a little of the history and show you Israelites, what prophet Jonah was sent to Nineveh for, and that the tribes of Israel was there, the northern kingdom, the tribe of Ephraim. And we gonna go into the book of Hosea after we, finish Jonah, because if you notice that, you know, the Assyrians and the Egyptians is mentioned quite frequently. You see what I'm saying? And then this 7 years later, you see, and then these prophets were sent to the northern kingdom. So he dealing with Ephraim and so forth. So we're gonna go into this history, but the tribe of Ephraim were in Assyria off covenant land doing wickedness is what they was doing. And then just think about this. We couldn't be a priestly nation if we up off the covenant land doing wickedness everywhere and so forth, and then how it was important for us to stay in our lot unless Almighty Yah sent us somewhere to destroy a tribe that was doing serpent worship under the disguise of Canaanite culture and so forth. And this is what Almighty Yah wanted for us Israelites. Now we know that our culture is influential right now here in captivity, how it influenced people all around the world. Not just rap, but the inventions and a whole lot of things about us Israelites since we've been in captivity has influenced world culture. But look here, this is what Almighty Yah wanted for us Israelites. All right. Now, wherefore, this is Exodus 19. And it says, now, therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. So when we made that covenant with the Creator, and He gave us the the priesthood with everything, showing the other nations the right way that He would accept, sacrifices and so forth, that it would have to come through, the Levites and the priests and Aaron and them so forth, and that how that the Israelites culture was supposed to be priestly, and we supposed to be righteous and doing right and being a standard for the earth. But like I say, it was serpent culture, man, before we got the law that existed, and that serpent culture didn't want us Israelites to hold the covenant, which would extinguish it. You see, that's all it was about, extinguishing the Canaanite culture by doing righteousness, because it was wicked all around us when we left when we was in Egypt and when we left Egypt. The Tanakh in the Torah outlined Canaanite culture and so forth, and in Leviticus and Deuteronomy, all the books tell us not to do the evil and wickedness and the abominations of the Canaanite culture. But eventually we Israelites come to that. But this what I want to show is that the book of Jonah, when it was wrote, and he was sent, man, to do his job, and then if you understand uh, uh the timeline, and then you read the book of Hosea, which would be 7 years later, you will see that the tribe of Ephraim was basically the problem, and then that's gonna be that Egyptian culture. That's gonna be that Egyptian culture that was put on us after Solomon. King David passed away, and Solomon, weakness allowed all the religions in, and then Jeroboam to come out of Egypt, and he was from the tribe of Ephraim. And we know that Pharaoh back in the days being slick, super slick, knowing that he was gonna probably slick destroy us in the end, especially with the Creator saying that we will break the covenant. But Pharaoh did his slickness way before then. Is when he gave Joseph Asenath, the priest of On, dog, and the priest of On, man, the priest of On, was the priest over the Egyptian religious system in Lower Egypt, in Heliopolis, and man, they got one of their monuments up in New York, the Cleopatra, what they call the Cleopatra needle, and it was erected during our bondage in Egypt. And it's sitting in New York now under disguise of what they call the Cleopatra needle. Our enemies real slick. They hide monuments in front of us that caused our downfall and have it right in front of us in this Egyptian system. This is an Egyptian system and monument after Egypt. And that's the Pharaoh that had King Josiah killed and installed his own Egyptian religion that would cause our downfall, and that would be all King Josiah's sons. Look, him, Necho, after the death of King Josiah, look, all bad. And we would go into Africa and wait on our captivity, being enslaved, took into the strange land and so forth. But our problem's gonna be from the tribe of Ephraim. Me and the tribe of Ephraim coming up off covenant land, and then like I say that old Pharaoh had to be slick when he gave Joseph Asenath, knowing that they probably gonna have some boys, and that those boys can be influenced by Egyptian religion, which would give us a problem in the land of Canaan, knowing that we had inherited the land all the way back since Prophet Abraham days and so forth, when he told them that we'll get that whole land. But look here, Pharaoh being slick right here, and Pharaoh called Joseph name, and he gave him Asenath, and he gave unto him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potipori, priest of On. All right, and then Joseph would go have them two sons. See, and Joseph called the name of the first Manasseh. All right, and then the name of the second, the youngest, Ephraim. He gonna be real influential. He gonna be real influential, and they gonna be able to. His granddaddy gonna probably influence him and so forth. And his descendants, man, they ain't do nothing but Egyptian religion. They'll straddle the fence. They'll do Yah worship, and mostly be influenced by Egyptian religion. And then that'll be that golden calf stuff. And then that'll be all these Israelites. Now, some of these Israelites, men would do like Judah towards the end. They would be on Egyptian religion, but kind of like, man, before that, some of the Israelites will be on the Canaanite. I mean, it's like they was picking their choice of whether they was going to be on the Amorite, Canaanite religion, or the Egyptian religion. And some of Judah's leaders was on Amorite religion. I think Manasseh was on Amorite religion, and man, it could have been Ahaz on Amorite religion. Let me see if Ahaz was on Amorite religion. But the kings of Judah was mostly, you know what I'm saying, they would dibble and dabble with the Amorite religion, but because that's where the Gabonites are gonna mostly be near Jerusalem, and then that'd be why come they couldn't get right, you know what I'm saying, the priests and so forth, why they couldn't get right and so forth, because the Gabonites, who were Amorites, were lodged in our heritage, hanging around the temple and so forth, and then that would be one of the reasons why the priests, man, would get tricked. All right, but man, let me show you this here, and let's go to Second Chronicles. Let's see what Second Chronicles say, man, about this. Second Chronicles 36. Second Chronicles 36. What I got now? Second Chronicles 36, 14. Look. Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Elohim, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. So, them Israelites gonna be doing the they gonna be doing the Amorite Canaanite religion mostly in Judah, but the northern kingdom was mostly on Egyptian religion. You know, Egyptian religion, and then when the Israelites get in trouble and get dogged out by that Egyptian religion, they'll try to run the Almighty Yah or something, you know, or they'll be completing Almighty Yah mission, and then they'll go to the Egyptian religion. You know, we was full of that mess. We was full of that mess. All right, let's see this. Look. All right. Let's get into. You know, Ahab did. That was Ahab that was gonna do the Amorite religion and stuff. You know what I'm saying? He did the Amorite religion too. So Ahab in the northern kingdom would do Amorite religion, and then the kings of Israel too would do the Egyptian religion too, because Jehoram, Jehoram gonna be doing some Egyptian religion. So, you know, man, we was all messed up, man. We was all messed up, man. They'll pick which false religion they want to worship, and they'll follow it. Because I remember Jehoram, after his father died, that he went to the Egyptian religion because he had married the one of the sons of the Israelite daughters, Omri's daughter, and Omri's grandchild. But it was the house of Omri. He was the leader that had set it up. This Israelite set up the dynasty and so forth, and all them after him. Ahab was, you know what I'm saying, one of his sons and so forth, and they would have a Hosea, and then, you know, but his daddy was on the Egyptian religion. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I can pull that up. All right. Let's go to Second Chronicles 31. Let's go to Second Chronicles 31. I think about 6. Let's see. Yes. Look. Now when Jehoram was risen up to the kingdom of his father, he strengthened himself and slew all his brethren with the sword. And the verse also of the princes of Israel. Jehoram was 32 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem, and he walked in all the ways of the kings of Israel, like as did the house of Ahab, for he had the daughter of Ahab to wife. So, you know, he's gonna be doing the Amorite religion, man. He's gonna be doing that Amorite Canaanite religion and so forth, because that's what he did, and then Ahab would be on that Amorite religion. See, the Amorites had a connection to Babylon, and they was doing a lot of trade too, and they was merchants, man, and they had, you know, been all over the Mediterranean, was all over here in Britain, and then had made it over to the Americas. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, them Israelites kicking it with them Amorite and doing their religion would benefit from their trade and so forth, and that would make conflict between Yah worshippers and them. So that would be the reason why Ephraim was in Assyria, and then that's why Jonah went to Nineveh. But look here, let's go to First Kings. First Kings, since I'm talking about it. First Kings, man, it'll be First Kings 22:26, and then let's see what it say. And I think it talk about. Let me see, First Kings. First Kings 22:26. No, that ain't it. But anyway, Ahab did the Egyptian religion. Let me see. How come I don't see this? Let me see. Go to Second Kings. Man, they was mixed up on all them religions. Uh, uh, that's like when Ephraim was hanging out in, in Assyria, in Nineveh, and so forth, and bringing trade back to Egypt, and that they had to have a weak Judah Yah worship in order for that mess to work. Now Ephraim is up off covenant land, you know what I'm saying, with this mess, and then this would, bring us down. This would bring us down. This would bring us down as a people, and we couldn't recover because we can't do Yah worship in Egyptian worship. That's like all these high places that they got in our community. And then it's like when you read in the Tanakh how the Israelites went to the high places. During that time when the Amorite culture was prevalent and the kings was doing it, then he had a lot of high worship places for the Canaanites to worship, just like in Christianity, you know what I'm saying? How, they got all the different places to worship, all the high places to worship, and so forth. When the biblical days, when our ancestors was on the Egyptian religion, they had places, where they can go, do that, in the promised land and so forth. And then, Ephraim, did it, in the tribe of Judah stood in the way. All right, now let's go into the book of Jonah, and then we're going to see if we can put some of this together. All right, so we know this is in 760 BCE. This would be like 171 years with the northern kingdom on Egyptian religion. All right, the word of the Elohim came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Go at once to Nineveh, that great city, and proclaim judgment upon it, for their wickedness has come before me. Jonah, however, started out to flee to Tarshish from the Elohim service. He went down to Joppa and found a ship going to Tarshish. He paid the fare and went abroad to sail with the others to Tarshish, away from the service of the Elohim. But the Elohim cast a mighty wind upon the sea, and such a great tempest come upon the sea that the ship was in danger of breaking up. In their fright, the sailors cried out, each to his own god, and they flung the ship's cargo overboard to make it lighter for them. And Jonah, meanwhile, had gone down into the hold of the vessel, where he lay down and fell asleep. He wasn't studying it, because he know Almighty Yah had his protection, was his protection. Look, the captain went over to him and cried out, how can you be sleeping so soundly? Up, calling your God. It was probably multinational folks transiting all around and stuff, all that Canaanite culture. And during this time, the Israelites wasn't being the priestly nation, so you're going to have a lot of religions up and about and so forth. We're responsible for all these religions existing today when Almighty Yah gave us the power to destroy them a long time ago, before we broke covenant. All right, so call upon your God, perhaps the God will be kind to us, and we will not perish. The men said one to another, let us cast lots. So they gonna, be them cast lots, and it fell on Jonah. They said to him, tell us, you who have brought this misfortune upon us, what is your business? Where have you come from? What is your country, and what people are you? I am a Hebrew. Look, I am a Hebrew. He replied, I worship the Elohim, the Yah of heaven, who made both sea and land. The men were greatly terrified, and they asked him, you know what I'm saying? I know they was terrified. You know what I'm saying? He go a real Israelite on the scene. They've been probably hearing about the true God, and they ain't ran across his representative, but now one of them was up on him. Look, and when the men learned that he was fleeing from the service of the Elohim, for so he told them, they said to him, what must we do to you to make the sea come around us? For the sea was growing more and more stormy. And he answered, heave me overboard, and the sea will calm down for you. For I know this is a terrible storm come upon you on my account. Nevertheless, the men rowed hard to regain the shore, but they could not, for the sea was growing more and more stormy about them. Then they cried out to the Elohim, oh, please, do not let us perish on account of this man's life. Do not hold us guilty of killing an innocent person, for you, O Elohim, by your will have brought this about. And they heaved Jonah overboard. The sea stopped raging, and the men feared the Elohim greatly, and they offered a sacrifice to the Elohim, and they made vows, probably to worship Almighty Yah only. So then, he gonna be in the whale's belly and so forth. Almighty Yah perform miracles. I done seen plenty miracles. He done perform plenty for me that was life saving and so forth. All right. So all right, what I have vowed I will perform. All right, you brought me up my life from the pit. Oh Elohim, when my life was ebbing away, I called the Elohim to mind, and my prayer come before you unto your holy temple, that who cling to empty folly forsake their own welfare. But I, with loud thanksgiving, will sacrifice to you. What have I vowed I will perform? Deliverance is the Elohim. The Elohim commanded the fish, and it swallowed Jonah out of it. It spewed Jonah out upon dry land. And then we know he got some big whales. All that's possible. Man, he got them big old whales that eat plankton. Man, it's so big in the Mediterranean, it could swallow a ship. So what Jonah went through is real feasible, and we're going to say that it was true, because I could show you some of them big old fishes that's so big they don't even eat meat. They just eat plankton. And man, I'm talking about they real big. And then they shoot air up into the they shoot water up into the air and stuff, man, and they can hold a whole lot of air and stuff. I'm gonna show that one day. Look, the word of the Elohim came to Jonah a second time. Go at once to Nineveh, that great city, and proclaim to it what I tell you. Jonah went at once to Nineveh in accordance with the word, with the Elohim's command. Nineveh was an enormously large city, a 3 days walk across. Jonah started out and made his way into the city, the distance of a day's walk, and proclaimed 40 days more, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. The people of Nineveh believed Yah. See, now listen. The people of Nineveh believed Yah. I'm going to show y'all why they believed Yah. Because the tribe of Ephraim was there. And they know how Almighty Yah is real, but they would go back, man, to their wickedness. They were straddling the fence. Look, they proclaimed their fast, a great and small alike put on sackcloth. And when the news reached the king, the Scythians, Ashkenazi was kicking it there. Everybody was kicking it in Nineveh. And let me see, when the king of Nineveh He rose from his throne and took off his robe and put on sackcloth and sat in ashes. And he had the word cried through Nineveh by decree of the king and his nobles. No man or beast or flock or herd shall taste anything. They shall not gaze, and they shall not drink water. They shall be covered with sackcloth, man and beast, and shall cry mightily to Yah. Now, what beast can cry mightily to Yah unless it was some uncivilized folks there that didn't have the technology and so forth, and that come around that was having animal cloth and animal skin on them, bear skins and animal skins and stuff, riding around with animal skins, horse skins, lizard skins, all kind of animal skins on them. So they call them beasts. They pull up in town, and then they got all these animal clothes on them, and then did no agriculture to grow cotton and so forth like that, and make clothing and so forth, that they had animal clothes on, so they would be called beasts. So they had to put sackcloth on too and cry out mightily to Yah, that everyone turn back from his evil ways and from the injustice of which he is guilty. And then what beast gonna be guilty of some injustice and so forth? Who knows but that Yah may turn and relent. He may turn back from his wrath so that we do not perish. Yah saw that they did how they were turning back from their evil ways, and Yah renounced the punishment he had planned to bring upon them and did not carry it out. But look, check this out now. This is the twist. This is the twist. This is the twist about that right there. Is that Assyria got it in the end. You know, Assyria got it by what prophet Nahum said, but they destruction really come from the prophet Isaiah, who was sitting back in Judah with the Yah worshippers, with the worshippers that believed in Yah, and that how those Israelites that was in Nineveh, man, was really in trouble and was finna be taught a lesson. Was finna be taught a lesson. Now we know Isaiah is in, is in 739 BCE. So from the book of Jonah to Isaiah, it's like, man, I think 14 years maybe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 14 years or something like that. Let me add it up. Let me add it up. So that'll be 760 to 739. Oh man, 760 minus 739. It's 21 years. 21 years later, from the book of Jonah, Isaiah man is wrote with a message. Now we know that prophet Nahum came in six man, I think it's 6. We're gonna see. But when he came with his message, it was to destroy it. It was to destroy Assyria. Look here, in 679. So this would be like, man, about 63 years from from Jonah. 63 years from when Jonah went to Nineveh and so forth, and then it'll be Jonah be 21 years, man, before prophet Isaiah pop up with his message in Judah, telling, the Judahite kings, that's like as Uzziah, Hezekiah, and the fruit of them, the good kings. The good kings, let's look and see. Alright, so look, we see Isaiah right there. Alright, we got a bad king in there. That'd be Ahaz. Yeah, we know Ahaz is bad. All right. So, but let's look what Isaiah gonna say about Nineveh, which was the Assyrian Empire, the seat of the Assyrian Empire. Look, this said, this said the Elohim. This is Isaiah 11:24. Therefore, this saith the Elohim Yah of hosts, O my people that dwelleth in Zion, be not afraid of the Assyrians. He shall smite thee with a rod, and shall lift up his staff against thee after the manner of Egypt. After the manner of Egypt. I mean, they just gonna work you to death and put you in their army and have you doing their service for yet a little while, and the indignation shall cease, and my anger in their destruction. So the this is in 739 BCE when Prophet Isaiah come with his message. Look here. Look here. Look. When he come with his message. 739 BCE. So it's what, 21 years later after Jonah. And then we know we got Nahum 60 some years later telling you that Assyria was over. Now we know that the Assyrians were used as the rod of Almighty Yah's indignation. So, you know, those Israelites that's hanging out there doing wickedness in Assyria, man, basically gonna cause Assyria's destruction. Them Israelites up off the covenant land, the tribe of Ephraim, and then that's when you get into the book of Hosea. Now I'm gonna finish reading Jonah, but look at this right here. Check this out right here. This is before the Assyrian captivity. Now we already know that Almighty Yah said that it's just gonna be a little punishment. You know, that's why come when you read in Hezekiah, he telling all the Israelites to come to the Passover dinner that escaped the Assyrians. And then, you know, the Syrians would come back through the land needing some help when they seen that they was about to get destroyed, and that the prophecies was coming true from Isaiah and Nahum and so forth. You know, but look here. Look at this right here. Alright. This is dealing with Assyria. Alright. Look. O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and a nation, critical nation, and against the people of my wrath. I will give him a charge to take the spoil and to take prey and to tread them down like the mare of the streets. And that's all it was about, chastising the northern kingdom for being on Egyptian religion and all these different religions that wasn't concerning our covenant, our promise. So he using them nations, man, against us. But because look, we know that it wasn't no Assyrian complete captivity of the northern kingdom, because when you get to let's go to Second Chronicles. Man, that'd be Second Chronicles 30. And this is Hezekiah, who was around during Prophet Isaiah's time. Look, see Hezekiah, you see Prophet Isaiah covering him. And then look here, all the tribes still at home. Because look, he doing the Passover dinner. And Hezekiah sent to all Israel, and the Assyrians came to bother him. And then a prophecy come to pass of how Almighty Yah would save Judah without horses and weapons and all that. And the angels come in and destroy the Assyrians and so forth. It was during Hezekiah time, but it was a prophecy before then. I might try to show it and so forth. I might run across it and show it. Man, if I read about it, and I think that I will. Look, and Hezekiah sent to all Israel and Judah and wrote letters also to Ephraim, because they the troublemakers, and Manasseh, that they should come to the house of the Elohim at Jerusalem to keep the Passover unto the Elohim of Israel. For the king had taken counsel, and his princes and all the congregation in Jerusalem, to keep the Passover in the second month, for they could not keep it at the time, because the priests had not sanctified themselves sufficiently, and neither had the people gathered themselves together to Jerusalem. And the thing pleased the king and all the congregation, so they established a decree to make proclamation throughout all Israel, uh, uh, from Beersheba even to Dan, that they should come to keep the Passover unto the Elohim Yah of Israel. And then this is, the Syrians was just for chastisement. So the people went with the letters from the king and his princes throughout all Israel and Judah, according to the commandment of the king, saying, Ye children of Israel, turn again unto the Elohim Yah of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, and he will return to the remain of you that are escaped out of the hands of the kings of Assyria. And then he named all the tribes. Look, the tribes are still there. They still there. They still there and so forth. But look. So the posts passed from the cities through the country of Manasseh, Ephraim, and Manasseh, and evil unto Zebulun, but they laughed them to scorn, because they was on that Egyptian religion. Some of them gonna come on and come to the temple during Hezekiah time, and this was in 715 BCE. This is 7 years after the so-called Assyrian captivity, where the people who have been in control of our history and push that the 10 lost tribes and that everybody was taken off. Man, if they'd have took 10 Israelites off, it'd have been saying that Israel was removed from the promised land, and we were banished. We were banished as a punishment for kicking it with the Assyrians. The tribe of Ephraim and Almighty Yah turned them against us. All right, but we still in the book of Jonah now. Look, all right. So Jonah Jonah went through Nineveh, and everybody's supposed to put on sackcloth and made an agreement to do right. And y'all saw that they did right. And then Prophet Jonah was mad because he wanted them to get it. You know what I'm saying? Especially the tribe of Ephraim. I guess he knew that the tribe of Ephraim is responsible for a whole lot of our troubles being a prophet. Look, this displeased Jonah greatly, and he was grieved, and he prayed to the Elohim, saying, Oh, Elohim, isn't this just what I said when I was still in my own country, that this is why I fled before a hand to Tarshish? For I know that you are a compassionate and gracious Yah, slow to anger, abounding in kindness, and renouncing punishment. Please, Elohim, take my life, for I would rather die than live. The Elohim replied, Are you that deeply grieved? Now Jonah had left the city and found a place east of the city. He made a booth there and sat under it in the shade until he should see what happened to the city. The Elohim men provide a restlessness plant which grew up over Jonah to provide shade for his head and save him from discomfort. And Jonah was very happy about the plant. But the next day at dawn, Yah provided a worm which attacked the plant so that it withered. And when the sun rose, Yah provided a swirly east wind, and the sun beat down on Jonah's head, and he became faint, and he begged for death, saying, I would rather die than live. Then Yah said to Jonah, Are you so deeply grieved about the plant? Yes, he replied, so deeply that I want to die. Then the Elohim said, You cared about the plant which you did not work for, and which you did not grow, which appeared overnight and perished overnight, and should not I care about Nineveh, that great city in which there are more than 120,000 persons who do not yet know their right hand from their left, and many beasts as well? Now listen, that's deep right there. And many beasts as well. So that's going to be the folks that ain't got no culture and so forth. And riding around with bird skins on them. Alright, now we know that he was sent to Nineveh. Now let's go see who was hanging out in Nineveh. Alright, let's go to the book of Hosea. Now this is, let me see, I think this is 14. This is 14 years after, let's add it up, after Jonah's message. Alright, 753. No, that's 7 years. Yes, 7 years. Yes, 7 years. I was thinking about something else. So from 760 to 753 is 7 years. So, from when Jonah gave his message, man in Nineveh, and then prophet Hosea come about. You know what I'm saying? And this is dealing with the northern kingdom. Let's go into it. Look, the word of the Elohim that came to Hosea, son of Beri, in the ring of kings Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah of Judah, and in the ring of King Jeroboam, son of Joaz. So that'd be right there, Jeroboam the second, and then that'd be them. So he was doing this time right here, this prophet right here, Hosea. That's about that time. Yep. So, all right. When the Elohim first spoke to Hosea, the Elohim said to Hosea, "Go get yourself a wife, a whoredom, and children of whoredom, for the land will stray from following the Elohim." So he went and married Gomer, daughter of Debelim. She conceived and bore him a son, and the Elohim instructed him, "Name him Jezreel, for I will soon punish the house of Jehu." That's going to be him right here, Jehu. Jehu right there. You see him? Bad. All right. Let me see. She conceived and bore him a son, and Elohim instructed him, "Name him Jezreel, for I will soon punish the house of Jehu for the bloody deeds at Jezreel, and put an end to his minority of the house of Israel. And in that day I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel." She conceived again and bore a daughter, and he said to him, "Name her Li Romi, for I will no longer accept the house of Israel or pardon them, but I will accept the house of Judah, and I will give them victory through Elohim their Yah. I will not give them victory with bow and sword and battle by horsemen and riders." And then that's going to be during King Hezekiah time. Let's hunt that down. Let's hunt that down. Let's see what that's about. If I could find that, that'd be real nice. All right. Oh shit. All right. Let's see if I can hunt that down. That'd be real nice if I. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 30, 37, 36, and see what it say. Isaiah 37:36. So we're going to see that prophecy came to pass in Hezekiah's time, I believe, 37:36. All right. Look. "In the remainder of Judah, escape of the house of Judah shall again take root upward and bear fruit upward, for out of Jerusalem shall go forth the remain." And all right, this is Isaiah 30, 37, and then when you get down, look to 33. "Therefore this saith the Elohim concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into the city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shields, nor cast a bank against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into this city, saith the Elohim. For I will defend this city to save it for my own sake, and for my own servant David's sake. Then the angel of the Elohim went forth and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 180,500. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead. See, so that come to pass right there. That come to pass during Hezekiah time. Look, then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto the Elohim. You see what I'm saying? And, and and that come to pass. That came to pass in Hezekiah time. In Hezekiah, uh, uh, the Assyrians was empire was their lights was finna go out because the prophets and already gave the oracles, man, about their destruction. So they was trying to get up out of it. They was trying to get it. Whenever folks got in trouble, whenever the black folks or the pigmented peoples got in troubles with them Caucasians, they would go get themselves down in Africa. They would go get themselves down in Africa where them other folks couldn't come after them. And then that's what happened to us Israelites. We would get up off the land when we seen them folks and got on down in Africa. All right, look. And let me hurry up and get some of this behind me. All right. She conceived again and bore a daughter, and to name him Naomi, for I will no longer accept the house of Israel or pardon them, but I will accept the house of Judah, and I will give them victory through their Yah. I will not give them victory with bow and with sword and battle and horse and riders. And I just showed y'all where the angel come told the Assyrians up. Look, after waning Laomi, she conceived and bore a son. Then he said, name him uh, Naomi, for you are not my people, and I will not be your Yah. That is called to the tribe of Ephraim. Look, the number of the people of Israel shall be like the sand in the sea, which cannot be measured or counted. And instead of being told, ye are not my people, they shall be called children of the living Yah. The people of Judah and the people of Israel shall assemble together and appoint one head over them, and they shall rise from the ground. For marvelous shall be the day of Jezreel. Call ye your brother my people, and ye sisters living, and accept it. Rebuke your mother, rebuke her, for she is not my wife, and I am not her husband. And let put her away her harlotry from her face, and her adultery from between her breasts. Else I will strip her naked and leave her as on the day she was born, and I will make like a wilderness, render her like a desert, and let her die of thirst. And I will also disown her children, for they are now whoreless brood, and in their mother has played the harlot. She that conceived them has acted shamelessly. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the tribe of Ephraim, I'm here to tell you. You're going to go into it because she thought I would go after my lovers who supply my bread and my water, my wool and my linen, and my oil and my drink. That's what the Israelites was taking from Assyria to Egypt. Look, man, surely I will hedge up her roots, roads with thorns, and rise walls against her. She shall not find her path, pursue her lovers as she will. She shall not overtake them, and seek them as she may. She shall never find them. Then she will say, I will go and return to my first husband. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Israelites did when it didn't work out with them false gods. Then they'll come back to Almighty Yah. Look, for then I fare better than them. And she did not consider this. It was I who bestowed on her the new grain and wine and oil, and who lavished silver on her, gold in which they used for Baal. And surely I will take back my new grain in this time, and my new wine in this season, and I will snatch away my wool and my linen that served to cover her nakedness. Now I will uncover her shame in the very sight of her lovers, and none shall save her from me. And then that's what happened to the Israelites in Nineveh, fooling with them, and then them Scythians come through and collapse the whole empire, the beasts that was there. All right, and, and because they was wearing animal skins. Look, and I will end all her rejoicing, her festivals and new moons and Sabbaths, and all her festive seasons. I will lay waste her vines and her fig trees, which she think things are a fee she received from her lovers. I will turn them into brushwood, and beasts of the field shall devour them. This will I punish her for the days of the Balaam, of which she brought them offerings, which decked with the earrings of jewels. She would go after her lovers and forget me, declared the Elohim. Meaning, surely I will speak coaxingly to her and lead her through the wilderness and speak to her tenderly, and I will give her vineyards from there in the act of Altar, in the valley of Altar, a plowed land of hope. There she shall respond as in the days of her youth, when she come up from the land of Egypt. In that day, declares the Elohim, you will call me Ishi, and no more will ye call me Bali, and I will remove the names of the Baalim from her mouth, and they shall never more be mentioned by my name. And that's that Amorite Canaanite culture, that Balaam, Baal stuff. Look, in that day I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, and the creeping things of the ground, and I will also banish both sword and war from the land. This I will let them lie down safely. Yeah, we ain't reached that point yet. And I will espouse you forever, and I will espouse you with righteousness and justice, and with goodness and with mercy. But before then, we all wickedness. Look, and with goodness and mercy, and I will espouse you with faithfulness, that you shall be devoted to the Elohim in that day. And I will respond. That's like them. We getting ready to worship Almighty Yah and Almighty Yah only. I will respond to the sky, and it shall respond to the earth, and the earth shall respond in new grain and wine and oil, and they shall respond to Jezreel. I will sow her in the land as my own, and take Leomi back in favor, and I will say, Leomi, you are my people, and he will respond, you are my Yah. The Elohim said to me, Father, go and befriend a woman who will befriend by a companion. So, you know what I'm saying? He finna go get old woman that was with a woman that was with a man and stuff, and want her to be loyal to him. Look, befriend by a companion and consort with others, just as the Elohim befriends the Israelites. But they turned to other gods and loved the cups of the grape. Then I hired her for 15 shekels of silver, a homer of barley, and less close to barley, and I stipulated with her, in return, you are to go a long time without either fornicating or marrying. Even I shall not cohabit with you. For the Israelites shall go a long time without king, and without officials, and without sacrifice, and without coat pillars, and without ephod, and without taphim. Afterward the Israelites will return back and will seek the Elohim their Yah and David their king, and they shall thrill over the Elohim and over his bounty in the days to come. And then that gonna come to pass when the Israelites was fleeing Assyria and so forth, and come back home, and then was at home during King Josiah's time, when he cleaned the land up. And you know, the Egyptians, men couldn't stand us just on Yah worship. And you know, King Josiah would lose his life, and we would go back to Egyptian religion about this time. See? And then we were going out. Alright. So, you know, he stipulated, man, that she can't have no man. He ain't gonna even sleep with her, man, for that silver and that food that he gave us for a little period of time. Alright. Hear the word of the Elohim, O people of Israel, for the Elohim has a case against the inhabitants of this land, because there is no honesty and no goodness, and no obedience to the Elohim in the land. False swearing, dishonesty, and murder, and theft and adultery are rife. Crimes follows upon crime, for that the earth is withered. Everything that dwells on is languished. Beasts of the field and birds of the sky, even the fish of the sea perish. Yeah, because of our wickedness, the whole earth get devoured. The Canaanite serpent culture get to devour everything, because we're not the priestly people we supposed to be. Wit would keep all this stuff in check. Look, let no man rebuke you. Let no man protest for this. Your people has a grievance against you. You, O priests, so you shall stumble by day, and by night a prophet shall stumble as well. And I will destroy your kindred. My people is destroyed because of your disobedience, because you have rejected obedience. I reject you as my priest. I told y'all them Ammonites and Amorites got into the temple in Joshua days, or whatever temple we would build, allowed them folks to get in, so they gonna be corrupt just for having them folks around, because we didn't follow Almighty Yah's instruction from the beginning to destroy all Canaanite tribes. All Canaanite tribes, and we let some trick us, and they always hung around the temple, whatever temple we would build, and then that destroyed us in the end. You know, that got us destroyed. You know, let me see. The Gabonites. The Gabonites right here. See the Gabonites in Joshua 9, them folks tricked us and was always around our temple and our priests and so forth, so they could never get it right. They was Amorites. You know, the Gabonites were Amorites. You know, let's go to Samuel 21. That'll be, I believe that'll be First Samuel. First Samuel. Trying to get some of this knocked out now. Maybe it's Second Samuel. Yep. All right. Gabonites. And said unto him, now the Gabonites were not of the children of Israel, but of the remain of the Amorites. That's the Canaanite culture. We didn't destroy, and then they was around the priests all the time. Whenever we set up a congregation or a place to worship Almighty Yah name, that we made them servants there. And then that's the worst thing we could have ever did, because they got a long list of wickedness that they could pour out on us and put out on us. And then that's what they did. You know, if you read the sins of the Canaanite culture, the Amorite culture, that Almighty Yah wanted us to destroy and told us not to do those sins and so forth, that was their sins. All right. All right, let me see. All right. Let no man rebuke you. Let no man protest for this. Your people grievance. All right, I'm down here. For you rejoice. For you reject obedience. I reject you as my priest, because you have spurned the teachings of your Yah. I in turn will spurn your children. The more they increase, the more they sin against me. I will change your dignity to dishonor. They feed on my people's sin offerings, so they desire its iniquity. Therefore the people shall fare like the priests. I will punish it for its conduct. I will requite it for its deeds. Truly they shall eat, but not be sated. They shall swear, but not be satisfied, because they have forsaken the Elohim, the practice lechery. Wine and new wine destroy the mind of my people. It consult, it sticks, its rod directed. A lecherous impulse has made them go wrong, and they have strayed from submission to their Yah. They sacrifice on the mountaintops and offer on the hills. You know, whether they doing the Egyptian religion might be prominent in the promised land, they going to have many high places for the Egyptian religion and all kind of stuff. They're going to have a main temple, but they're going to have places where folks can do all their old wickedness rituals and stuff. And then a lot of that stuff was the Canaanite culture that we didn't destroy, still left over. All that would get us. Look, under oaks, parlors, and tamarinds, whose shades are so pleasant, that is why their daughters fornicate and their daughters-in-law commit adultery. I will not punish their daughters for fornicating, nor their daughters-in-law for committing adultery, for they themselves turn aside with whores and sacrifice with prostitutes. A people that is without sense must stumble. If you are a leecher, Israel, let not Judah incur guilt. Do not come to Gilgal. Do not make pilgrimage to Beth Haven, and do not swear by the Elohim. All Israel has balked like a stubborn cow. Therefore the Elohim will graze him on the range like a sheep. Ephraim is addicted to images. Let him be. They drink to excess. Their liquor turns against them. They love beyond measure. Disgrace is the gift which the wind is bringing. They shall garner shame from their sacrifice. Hear this, O priest, attend, O house of Israel, and give ear, O royal house, for right conduct is your responsibility, but you have been a snare to Mezpah, a net spread over Tabar. For when trappers dug deep pitfalls, I was the only reproof of them all. Yes, I have watched Ephraim. Israel has not escaped my notice. Behold, you have fornicated, O Ephraim. Israel has defiled himself. Their habit do not let them turn back to their Yah because of the lecherous impulse within them. They pay no heed to the Elohim. Israel pride shall be humbled men before his very eyes. As Israel and Ephraim fall because of their sin, and Judah falls with them. And Judah, sure enough, fell with the northern kingdom. Man, they will put their evilness on the tribe of Judah. The tribe of Israel did. Look, man, when you go to Second Kings, I believe that's Second Kings. Let's see, Second Kings 17:19. Let's see what that's like. 17:19. All right. Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Elohim their Yah, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Elohim rejected all of the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight. Man, we was getting our mouth tore out. The Syria was over us. We had to get delivered from them. The Assyrians then came and took the fighters out of all the tribes and then kidnapped them. The tribe Ephraim is doing business with him. He ain't caring about us as a people. We was all messed up like we are now. Israelites don't have no unity in one set goal to worship Yah, and that we do everything besides that. And that's what our people was going through in Hosea, after Jonah done left there, that they wasn't right. Look, hear this, O priest, attend, O house of Israel, and give ear, O royal house, for right conduct is your responsibility, but you have been a snare to Mezpah and a net spread out over Tabar. For when the trappers dug pitfalls, I will only reprove all of them. Yet I have watched Ephraim. Israel has not escaped my notice. Behold, you have fornicated, O Ephraim. Israel has defiled himself. Their habits do not let them turn back to their Yah because of the lecherous impulse within them. Man, I read this. All right. They pay no heed to the Elohim. Israel pride shall be humble before his very eyes. As Israel and Ephraim fall because of their sin, and Judah falls with them. Then they will go with their sheep and cattle to seek the Elohim, but they will not find him. Every time we get in trouble and get messed up real bad, we always seek the Elohim out. Look, he has cast them off because they have broken faith with the Elohim, because they have begotten alien children. Therefore the new moon shall devour their portion. Sound a ram's horn in Gabah, a trumpet in Ramah, and give alarm in Bethaven. After you, Benjamin, Ephraim is stricken with horror on a day of chastisement. After you, Benjamin, but that's because the Amorites almost turned the tribe of Benjamin out, and we almost destroyed all them because the Amorites then turned them out. turned them out and had them doing some abominable things that they shouldn't have been doing. All right, Ephraim is stricken with horror on a day of chastisement. Against the tribes of Israel, I proclaim certainties. The officers of Judah have acted like shifters of field boundaries. On them I will pour out my wrath like water, and Ephraim is it is defrauded robbers of redress because he has witlessly gone after futility. For it is I who am like rock to Ephraim, like decay to the house of Judah. Yet when Ephraim become aware of his sickness, Judah of his sores, Ephraim repaired to Assyria. He sent envoys to a Parthian king. He will never be able to cure you, will not heal you of your sores. No, I will be like a lion meant to Ephraim, like a great beast to the house of Judah. I will attack and stride away, carry the prey that no one can rescue, and I will return to my abode till they realize their guilt. In their redress they shall seek me and beg for my favor. And that's what we doing now. Come, let us turn back to the Elohim. He attacked and he can heal us. He wounded, he can bind us up. In 2 days he will make us whole again. On the third day he will rise us up, and we shall be whole by his favor. Let us pursue obedience to the Elohim, and we shall become obedient. His appearance is as sure as the daybreak, and he will come to us like rain, like later rain that refreshes the earth. What can I do for you, Ephraim? What can I do for you, Judah? When your goodness is like morning clouds, like dew to so early gone. That is why I have hewn down the prophets, have slain them with the words of my mouth. In the day that dawn brought on your punishment, for I desire goodness, not sacrifice, obedience to Yah rather than burnt offerings. But they to a man have transgressed the covenant. This is where they have been false to me. Gilead is the city of evildoers. That's Ephraim's territory. Tracked up with blood, the gang of priests is like the ambuscades of bandits who murder on the road to Shittim, for they have encouraged depravity in the house of Israel. I have seen a horrible thing. Ephraim has fornicated there. Israel has defiled himself. Even Judah has reaped a harvest of you. When I would restore my people's fortune, when I would heal Israel, the guilt of Ephraim reveals itself in the wickedness of Samaria, for they have acted treacherously with thieves breaking in, bands raiding outside, and they do not consider that I remember all their wickedness. Why they misdeed have been all around them. They have been ever before me. In malice they make a king merry, and officials in treachery. They commit adultery, all of them, like an oven fired by a baker, who desists from stoking only for the kneading of the dough to leavening. The day they made our king sick, and officials with the poison of wine, he gave his hand to traitors. For they approached their ambush with their heart like an oven, through the night their baker has slept. In the morning it flares up like a blazing fire. They all get heated like an oven and devour their rulers. None of them calls to me. All the kings have fallen by their hand. Everybody messing with them, getting caught up. Ephraim is among the people. He is riding away. Ephraim is like a cake, incapable of turning. Look, see, them Israelites in them camp get that all messed up. They don't have no understanding of this right here, and then how they try to get this verse to the natives and so forth, saying that that's them, and that you know, look, Ephraim is among the people. He is riding away. Ephraim is like a cake incapable of turning. I mean, he gonna burn up. He gonna be burnt on one side. Look, strangers have consumed his strength, but he has taken no notice. Also, mold is scattered over him, but he has not taken no notice. Though Israel pride has been humbled before his very eyes, they have not turned back to the Yah, to the Yah, the Elohim. They have not sought him. You see, Ephraim was real far away from the law. In spite of everything, instead Ephraim has acted like a silly dove with no mind. They have appealed to Egypt. They have gone to Assyria. When they go, I will spread my net over them. I will bring them down like birds of the sky. I will chastise them. When I hear their bragging, woe to them for straying from me. Destruction to them for rebelling against me, for I was their redeemer. Yet they have plotted treason against me. But they did not cry out to me sincerely as they lay wailing. They debauch over new grain and new wine. They are faithless to me. I strengthen their arms, and they plot evil against me. They come back, they have been of no use, like a sack bow. Their officers shall fall by the sword because of the stammering of their tongues. Such shall be the result of their gibbering in the land of Egypt. And we know that we all went into Egypt during the Babylonian wars, all the tribes, because there wasn't no 10 lost tribes. But a ram's horn to your mouth, like an eagle over the house of the Elohim, because they have transgressed my covenant and been faithless to my teachings. Israel cries out to me, "Oh my Yah, we are devoted to you." Israel reject what is good, and enemies shall pursue him. They have made kings, but not with my sanction. When the Assyrians, Egyptians come in and put them on the throne, and Almighty Yah didn't tell them to. He didn't tell the Egyptians to point them King Josiah's and them sons. You know, he had other sons that was righteous, but the Egyptians pointed the wicked ones on there. All right, they made officers, but not of my choice. Of their silver and gold, they have made themselves images to their own undoing. He rejects you, calf. He rejects your calf, Samaria. See, that's that Egyptian worship right there. I am furious with them. Will they never be capable of purity? For it was Israel's doing. It was only made by a joiner. It is not a god. No, the calf of Samaria shall be reduced to splinters. And then that's what King Josiah did, what made the Egyptians come out and get him. They saw when they shall reap whirlwinds, standing stalks devoid of ears and yielding no flour. If they do yield any, strangers shall devour it. Israel is bewildered. They have now become among the nations, like an unwanted vessel, like a lonely wild ass. For they have gone up to Assyria, Ephraim. Look, see, I tell you, I told you it was about Ephraim being in Assyria. That's why Jonah went there. Look, for they have gone up to Assyria. Ephraim has courted friendship, and while they were courting among the nations, there I will hold them fast, and they shall begin to diminish in number from the burden of the king and the officers. For Ephraim has multiplied altars for guilt. His altars have rebounded to his guilt. The many teachings I wrote for him have been treated as something alien. When they present sacrifice to me, it is but flesh for them to eat. The Elohim has not accepted them. Behold, he remembers their iniquity. He will punish their sins. Back to Egypt with them. Israel has ignored his maker and built temples, and Judah has fortified many cities. So I will set fire to his cities, and he shall consume their fortresses. Now listen here. We know that happened right here. When they burnt the city up, when they burnt Jerusalem up. Let's go to Jeremiah 39. That eventually came to pass. In the book of Jeremiah, we was on our way out the door. Everybody in them played us. Everybody in them played us out of our position to being the priestly nation, being Yah worshipers. That was the whole plan. That's like now. The folks can't stand to see us do none righteousness. It scares them to see an Israelite trying to do right. And man, they'll come out with their wickedness on you. But look here, look, did this come to pass? Look. Alright, and it come to pass. Alright. Moreover, he put Zedekiah's eyes out and bound him with chains to carry him to Babylon. And the Chaldeans burnt the king's houses and the houses of the people with fire and break down the walls of Jerusalem. I mean, they burnt everything up. And then let's go to Jeremiah 52. Jeremiah 52. Jeremiah 52. That'll be 13. 52:13. And burnt the house of the Elohim and the king's house and all the houses of Jerusalem and all the houses of the great men burnt he with fire. So this come to pass. Man, let's see and when it come to pass, because that's in Hosea. It is 7:53 and 7:53, and we got kicked out in 588. Man, that's 165. Man, that's 165 years later that it come to pass about the temple and everything getting burnt, like he said. All right, Israel is ignored and built temples, and Judah has justified many cities, and I will set fire to his cities, and it shall consume their fortress. Rejoice not, O Israel, as other people exalt, for you have strayed away from your Yah. You have loved a whore's feet. By every threshing floor of new grain, threshing floor of winepress, shall not join them, and the new wine shall betray her. They shall not be able to remain in the land of the Elohim. But Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and shall eat unclean food in Assyria, and it shall be for them like the food of mourners. All who partake of which are defiled, they will offer no libations of wine to the Elohim, and no sacrifice of theirs will be pleasing to him. And look, that happened too, because if you go, they was took to Assyria to eat unclean things in 722 BC. That's a few years later, 21 years later. 21 years later, man, it happened. And then this, if you go to Second Chronicles, Second Chronicles, no, that'd be First Chronicles. First Chronicles 5, I think. Look. And the Elohim and the Yah of Israel stirred up the king of Paul, king of Assyria, and the spirit of Takman as a king of Assyria, and he carried them away. The Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh. Those going to be the fighters there. The sons of Reuben, Gad, and half tribe of Manasseh. Valiant men able to bear buckler and sword, and will shoot bow, and skillful in war, were 40,700. Them who the Assyrians needed. All right. So, all right. So we know that we went into Egypt, returned to Egypt, and we, them prophets come to pass. It shall be for them like the food of mourners. All right. They will offer no libations of wine to the Elohim, and no sacrifice of theirs will be pleasing to the Elohim, for their food will only be for their hunger. It shall not come into the house of the Elohim. What will ye do about feast days, about the festivals of the Elohim? Behold, they have gone from destruction. With the silver they treasured, Egypt shall hold them fast. Moth shall receive them in burial. Weeds are their hairs. Prickly shrubs occupy their old homes. The days of punishment have come for your heavy guilt. The days of requital have come. Let Israel know it. The prophets was distraught, inspired men driven mad by constant harassment. Ephraim watches for my Elohim, asked for the prophet. foul snares are all the past harassment in the house of his Yah. They have been a grievous corrupt as in the days of Gabal. He will remember their iniquity. He will punish their sins. I found Israel as pleasing as grapes in the wilderness. Your father seen me like the first fig to ripen on the fig tree, but when they come to Baal Perot, they turn aside to shamefulness. Then they became detested as they had been loved from birth and from the womb, from conception. Ephraim glory shall be like birds that fly away, even if they rear their infants. I will berate them of men. Woe to them indeed when I turn away from them. It shall go with Ephraim, and as I have seen it go with Tribe, which was planted in the meadow. Ephraim too must bring out his children to slayers. Give them, O Elohim, give them what? You see, that's what Jonah wanted them to get destroyed. Look, all their misfortunes begin in Gilgal, for I disowned them for their evil deeds. I will drive them out of my house. I will accept them no more. All their officials are disloyal. Ephraim is stricken, their stock is withered. They can produce no fruit. Even if they do bear children, I will slay their and cherished offsprings. My Yah rejects them because they have not obeyed him, and they shall go wandering among the nations. Israel is a raged vine, and its fruit is like it. When the fruit was plentiful, he made altars of plentiful, and when the land was bountiful, coats and pillars. So the more we prospered, the more wicked we got as a people, to where we had to get kicked off the land. Now that his broad are broken up, he feels his guilt. Himself pulls apart his altar, smashes his pillars. That's what we do when we get all messed up off the false religion and it don't profit us no more. Then we try to get rid of it. Truly now they say, we have no king, for since we do not fear the Elohim, what can a king do for us? So they concluded agreements and made covenants with false oaths, and justice degenerates into poison weeds, breaking out on the furrows of the fields. The inhabitants of Samaria fear for the calf of Beth Haven. Indeed, its people and priestlings whose joy is at once mourning over and for the glory. So the tribe of Ephraim, man, they had false priests in Samaria and other place. They was doing Egyptian religion, and when trouble come, they'll switch over to Almighty Yah, but they was mostly on Egyptian religion, and they was up off the land doing wicked things in Assyria and Egypt, and just, man, they was just all messed up. Look, there they stand at Gabal. Shall they not be overtaken by a war upon scandalous as a people gather against them? When I chose them, I broke them in, harnesses them for the two furrows. Ephraim became a trained heifer, but preferred to thrash. I placed a yoke upon her sleek neck. I will make Ephraim to advance plowing. Judah shall do mine plowing. Jacob shall do final plowing. Sow righteousness for yourselves. Reap the fruits of the goodness. Break for yourselves betimes fresh and ground. O seek the Elohim so that ye may obtain a teacher of righteousness. You have plowed wickedness. You have reaped iniquity, and ye have eat the fruit of treachery, because you relied on your ways and on your host of warriors. But the din of war shall arise in your people, and all your fortress shall be ravaged. At Beth Bar was raised by Shalman on the day of battle, when mothers and babies were dashed to death together. This is what Bethel has done to you for your horrible wickedness. And Bethel is going to be where Jeroboam put that golden calf stuff at. All right. I fell in love with Israel when he was a child, and I have called him my son ever since Egypt. And this were they called, but they went their own ways. They sacrificed to Baalim and offered to crave images. I have pampered Ephraim, taken them in my arms, but they have ignored my healing care. I drew them with human ties and with cords of love, but I seemed to them as who imposed a yoke on their jaw, though I was offering them food. No, they returned to the land of Egypt in Assyria. Look, they returned to the land of Egypt in Syria as their king because they refused to repent. A sword shall descend upon their towns and consume their limbs and devour them because of their designs. My people persist in its defection from me. When it is summoned upward, it does not rise at all. How can I give you up, O Ephraim? How surrender you, O Israel? How can I make you like Adamah, render you like Zeboim? I have a change of heart. All my tenderness is stirred, and I will not act on my wrath. Will not turn to destroy Ephraim, for I am Yah, not man, the Holy One. In your mindset, I will not come in fury. The Elohim roar like a lion, and they shall march behind him. When he roars, his children shall come fluttering out of the west. That's us. They shall flutter from Egypt like sparrows, from the land of Assyria like doves. Will that come to pass when the Assyrian Empire was collapsing and everybody was coming home from Assyria, and you go to Isaiah 19 right here. Look, in that day there shall be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria. The Syrians shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptians into Syria, and the Egyptians shall serve with the Syrians. In that day Israel shall be a third with Egypt and with Assyria, even in the midst of the land, and whom the Elohim of hosts shall bless. So, the Syrians and the Egyptians, during this last days, everybody had to come back this way, because this way was being taken over by another ethnic group of peoples that we call Caucasians. All right. So we know that we come from Egypt, and you know what I'm saying, from Assyria, like it says. All right. Ephraim surrounded me with deceit, the house of Israel with gall, but Judah stands firm with Yah and is faithful to the Holy One of Israel. Ephraim tends the wind and pursues the gall. He is forever aiding illusion to calamity. Now they make a covenant with Assyria. Now all is carried into Egypt. So he's speaking about that time and what he's sent to get a prophecy about during that time. So Ephraim was messing around with Assyria in Egypt, and then that's what Jonah had went there the first time. 7 years later, Hosea talking about Ephraim and Assyria. Look, the land once inducted Judah and punished Jacob for his conduct, requited him for his deeds. In the womb he tried to supplement his brother. Grown to manhood, he strove with the divine being. He strove with an angel and prevailed. Other had to weep and implore him. At Bethel, Jacob would meet him, there to commune with him. Yet the Elohim, the Yah of hosts, must be evoked as Elohim. As Elohim, you must return to your Yah, practice goodness and justice, and constantly trust in your Yah. A traitor whose false balance, whose love to overreach, Ephraim thinks, I have become rich. I have gotten power. All my gains do not amount to an offense, which is real guilt. See, they was messing with the Syrians, getting rich up off the promised land, and they forgot their ways. And as you read, it's going to be telling you this. Look, for a wife to guard sheep, but when the Elohim brought Israel up out of the land of Egypt, it was through a prophet. Through a prophet they were guided. Ephraim gave bitter offense, and his Lord cast his crimes upon him and requited him for his mockery. When Ephraim spoke piety, he was exalted in Israel, but he incurred guilt through Baal. And so he died, and now they are sinning. They have made them molten images, idols by their skills, from their silver wholly the work of craftsmen. Yet for these they appoint men to sacrifice. They are wont to kiss calves. Surely they shall be like morning clouds, like dew to early gone, like chaff whirled away from the threshing floor, and like smoke from a lettuce. Only I, the Elohim, have been your Yah. Ever since the land of Egypt, you have never known a true Yah but me. You have never had a helper other than me. I looked after you in the desert and in thirst, and when they gazed, they were sated, and when they were sated, they grew haughty, and so they forgot me. So I am become like a lion to them, like a leopard. I lurked on the way. Like a bear robbed of her young, I attacked them and ripped open the casings of their heart. I would devour them like a lion. The beasts of the field shall mingle them. You old done, old Israel, you had no help but me. Where now is your king? Let him save you. So it goes on and on and on. But the whole thing is about Ephraim being in Assyria, being up off the promised land, doing wickedness and so forth, and that, return, O Israel, to the Elohim your Yah, for you have fallen because of your sin. Take words with you and return to the Elohim. Say to him, forgive all guilt and accept what is good. Instead of bulls, we will pay the offerings of your lips. Assyria shall not save you. Look, Assyria shall not save you. No more will we ride on steeds. Never ever again will we call our handiwork our Yah, our God, since it is you alone, orphan, find pity. I will heal their affliction. Generously I will take them back in love, for my anger has turned away from them. I will be to Israel like dew. He shall blossom like the lily. He shall strike root like Lebanon tree. His broad shall spread out far. His beauty shall be like the olive tree. His fragrance like that of Lebanon. They who sit in the shades shall be revived. They shall bring to life new grain. They shall blossom like vine. His scent shall be like the wine of Lebanon. Ephraim shall say, what more have I to do with idols? When I respond and look to him, I become like a veteran cypress. Your fruit is provided by me. He who is wise will consider these words. He who is prudent will take note of them. For the path of the Elohim are smooth. The righteous can walk on them, while sinners stumble on them. All right, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. So, man, we know that Jonah went there to try to get Ephraim to act right. But Ephraim was just full of wickedness, and then they caused our downfall. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood.